Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go over the test unit 8 exam for you to watch and to learn. So first thing, we're going to read the equation all the way through, and now I've circled some things that are key in this equation, in this problem. Write and solve. So right there it tells me I'm going to do two things. Okay, so an equation to find the missing dimensions of the circle. Write both. Well, that means two. Your answers below, right? Plural answers, right? Some of us just wrote one. Make sure I can distinguish between your equation and the missing dimension of the circle. Now we're trying to find r because that's the missing dimension because it gave us the diameter. Diameter equals 2r. So if I want to find r, right, because I have diameter, that's why I want this, right? So I'll divide by 2 on this side. I'll divide by 2 on this side, right? And so r is going to equal d divided by 2, right? Or you could simply take this equation and say, well, 24 equals 2r, right? So either one of these two equations I accepted, okay? So either 24 equals 2r, or 2r equals 24, or r equals d divided by 2. Alright, so now if we have this, how do we solve this, right? So this is one part of the equation, one part of our answer. And then we have to say, well, if I'm going to solve that, 2r equals 24, I'm going to divide by 2 and divide by 2, and r equals 12 inches. That's my second part of my answer. Right? So for your 2 points right here, you had to have both of those, right? Or one version of the equation. All right, so moving forward. Find the circumference and the area. And so 1, 2. Right? Write your answer below. Don't forget to include units. Alright, so I know that my circumference formula equals 2 pi r, and my area formula is pi r squared. Alright, so I'm just going to plug in my numbers. 2 pi times 7, and area equals pi times 7 squared. So circumference equals 2 times pi times 7, or 14 times pi, and we get 43.96 centimeters. Alright, one of my answers. And then area equals pi times 49. 3.14 times 49 is area equals 153 and 86 centimeters squared. Alright. On to problem number 4. Number 4, let's see. Oh, I see. The email address is number 1. Alright. Find the perimeter of the semicircle. Don't forget to include units. Alright, so perimeter, we're going to use the circumference formula for diameter, because we have a diameter there. Pi times diameter. And then we're going to divide by 2, and we have to lastly add the diameter, right? We need to add this piece to our equation. A lot of us didn't do this, right? This is part of the perimeter. Now the C, right, that gets us from here all the way to here, okay? But it doesn't get us from here to here, right? So we're going to have to add that diameter at the end. Alright, so we'll say circumference equals pi times 10.5 divided by 2 plus 10.5. Right? Circumference equals 10.5 times 3.14 divided by 2, and that gives me 16.485 plus 10.5. It's bothering me, sorry. Circumference equals 26.985, or if you rounded it, right, you can round to 26.99, 27 if you wanted to do all the way to a whole number. I accepted all answers. Alright, find the area of the semicircle. Alright, so area equals pi r squared divided by 2, because it's half of a circle. So area equals pi times, now 17, that's the diameter, right? And so using my formula for radius, I know that it's d divided by 2, and so I'll take 17, I'll divide it by 2, and I get 8.5. So 8.5 squared divided by 2. So area equals 8.5 times 8.5 equals 72.5 pi times 72.25 divided by 2 times 3.14, and we get 226.865. We'll divide that number by 2 because we only have half of a circle, and our final area for this semicircle is 3.4. We're around to the nearest tenth meters squared. Now you could put all those numbers there, 3.4325, but not needed. Alright. So make sure to answer both questions A and B, okay? I try to make it seriously obvious that when you have to answer more than one thing. Alright, draw a picture, label what you know from the question if it supports your understanding. So if means it's possible. If you want to do it, you can do it. Don't forget to include units. So I have a table, top of a glass coffee table, right? So is a circle. So I'm going to draw a circle, right? That's what I know. The circumference, so C equals 15.7 feet. What is the radius? Well, I have circumference equals 2 pi r as a formula that I can use. But if I want r to stay on its side by itself, I have to divide off my other two objects, 2 and pi, right? So circumference divided by 2 pi equals r here, right? I could have just put my formula in there. I could actually have my formula in there for 15.7 equals 2 pi divided by 2 divided by pi. That's fine. But I just manipulated the equation. So all I have to do is plug in my numbers. 15.7 feet divided by 2 pi equals r. Alright? So I'll figure out what 2 pi is first. That's 6.28. So 15.7 divided by 6.28 equals 2.5. So radius equals 2.5 feet. That's one of my answers. Alright, done. Alright, and now find the area of the table. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of the space down here. Area equals pi r squared. Area equals pi times, well, my radius is 2.5, right? So 2.5 squared. So 2.5 times 2.5 is 6.25. So I have pi times 6.25 times 3.14, and I get it up to 19.625 feet squared. Now you could have rounded any which way you wanted, 19.6, 19.63. It's up to you. I think I rounded the nearest hundredth when I looked at my answers originally. Alright, now use the grid to find the appropriate area of the figure. Right? See, I'm reading closely to what my instructions are because I need to know what I am answering before I answer it. Right? So I'm using the grid, and I'm going to find the approximate area. So roughly the area. So we don't know for sure, but we can make a good, educated, serious guess towards it. Right? So I can count my full squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I have 24 units, whole units, I should say. Alright, now let's find what's this is a half a unit, this is a half a unit, that's a half a unit, this is a half unit, this is a half unit, and this is a half unit. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 half units. Right? Without equal 3 whole units. Right? So, well, as you guessed it, 24 plus 3. Let me say approximately 27 units squared because it's area. Alright, so you had another one, right? Count the full ones. So what? 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is 8, 8, 8. So I know that is 24. Alright, so I have that piece. Alright, so 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Alright, so I had another 6 there. And then I have these pieces. I'll color them in. Right, so these are all not full units, so I have to kind of piece things together to say, okay, well, what would make a full unit? Well, I just have to look. So maybe that's 1, right? Maybe that's 1, and maybe that's 1, right? So I accepted answers 33 to 36 units squared, right? Because it's you're looking at it as, okay, well, maybe you say that that's 1.5, right? Maybe you're saying that that's 1.2, and maybe this is 1.3, right? And so you end up with 4, right? Well, that's why it would be, 4 units, and you would add those together, and you would get 34, right? So it's roughly. So I accepted any answers in between 33 and 36 units squared. Alright, so now we're finding the perimeter. Alright, so we have 2 things. Right? Now, I'm going to say a lot of people forgot to add in this piece right there and that piece right there because it's not labeled, right? But that's also 2 millimeters, right? Because this is 6, right? And if this is 2, right? Well, it has to be even on both sides, so it's 2 and 2, right? So 2 millimeters, and then 2 millimeters, and then that's also 2 millimeters. Right, so even though it's not labeled, you have to know that that's still a measure of the perimeter. Right, so it's like you started here, you walked up here, walked over here, walked around, walked back to here, walked here, right? Kind of like a loop through school. Right, and so we're looking at this and say, okay, well, circumference, right, is going to equal pi times diameter divided by 2 because it's a semicircle. So we get pi times 6 divided by 2. 6 times 3.14 equals 18.84 divided by 2. So 9.42 millimeters. Part of our answer. Right? Now we just have to count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we have 10 millimeters plus 9.42 millimeters. And so our answer is P equals 19.42 millimeters. Alright, find the perimeter of the figure. Don't forget to include units. Perimeter. Right? Well, that's 10, so I'll write that down. 10 meters. So we got here. We got here. That's 6 millimeters. We got here. That's another 10 millimeters. We got there. That's 5 millimeters. And then we got there. That's another 5 millimeters. Now they threw this in here, right? Because you have the same problem a second, and it asked you for perimeter and area, right? But you have to know that that's not part of the perimeter, and neither is this. Okay? So, 20, 10, 6, Together we get 36 millimeters. Oops, meters. Alright. Alright, find the area of the figure. Okay, so find the area. Alright, so area equals pi r squared divided by 2. That's going to be this part right here. Alright, so let's figure that out. Pi times r, right? This is the diameter, so this r is 3 here, times 3 squared divided by 2. So 9 times pi, 9 times 3.14 divided by 2. That gives me 14.13 millimeters squared. And then I have to find the area of this box, right? It's a 2 by 2. Area equals side squared. So 2 squared equals 4.00 millimeters. And together we have 18.13 millimeters squared. And find the area. So I have this space right here, and then I have this triangle up top. And so I just need to add those together. So I have area equals the length times width. So that equals 10 times 6, which equals 60 millimeters squared. Right? And I have area equals 1/2 base times height. So I have 1/2, the base is 6, right? Because I just moved this number straight over. And times 6 times 4 is my height. Right? 4 is my height. That's the inside height. Right? And so half of 6 is 3, so 3 times 4. And so I have 12 millimeters squared. Add that up, 72, meters squared would be the area. Alright, a square table, 4 feet on each side, has 2 drop leaves. Those are ends that fold down. Each are shaped as semicircles with a 4 feet in diameter, right? So we know that's a 4-foot diameter. Find the perimeter of the table with the drop leaves. So circumference equals 2 equals pi times diameter, right? And we have 2 half circles, so it forms 1 circle, so I'm not going to divide by 2 because I'd just be multiplying by 2 in a moment, right? So circumference equals pi times 4, which equals 12.56 feet. And then we have this piece right here, and this piece right here. Now, you would think since it's not connected, you want to add that extra 8 feet, but it's not the case, right? Because it's with the leaves up, so it forms one big table, okay? So that might have been tricky in thinking. So then we have plus 16 feet. And so we have 28, oh, not 16, I just did it myself, plus 8. So it's 20.56 feet. So P equals 20.56 feet. Yeah, so you got me too. I actually just did it myself. But I caught it. Alright. Alright, now we're trying to find, same problem, but now we're trying to find the area with the drop leaves, right? So area equals pi r squared, and this is diameter, right? So we need to say that r equals 2 feet. Area equals pi times 2 squared. Area equals pi times 4. That's 12.56. Now we have the area inside here. So area equals side squared. It is 4 squared, which is 16. So we're going to add those together. 12.56 plus 16 for a grand total of 28.56 feet squared. It's area, so the units are always squared. Alright, you paint one wall in your room and you leave a circle, right? So this circle right here, for your favorite sports team logo. The diameter, right, of the circle, so draw things in when you know it, is 3 feet. What is the area of the wall you paint, right? So we need to figure out what this is. Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. Alright, so first we're going to find out the rectangle, right? So the rectangle is area equals length times width. So area equals 15.5 times 8. 15.5 times 8. That gives me 124 feet squared. So we know that we're going to use that. But now we're not painting this middle part, but that's this whole thing from here all the way here, even if it was with that circle. We're going to take that circle away because we didn't paint it. We have to find that circle first. So we have area equals r pi r squared. R is going to equal 1.5 here. So area equals pi times 1.5 squared. 1.5 times 1.5. That gives me 2.25. Right, times that by pi, 3.14. Area for that is 7.065. Minus 7.065. And I end up with the area of the painted surface is 116.9, and around in there's 104, right? Because it's 116.935. Look at the neighbor, it's a 5, so it goes up 1 in value, right? And we have feet squared. Alright, so that is the test for you. I'm not going to go over the bonus problem because it's not necessary at this time.